Hey everyone, my name's Anthony, and today I'm going to be filming a coming out video. Um, I've been wanting to do this for quite a while, but life gets in the way, and all that, and just I get lazy. um, but finally, I'm going to do this, and I want to do this because when I was in my late teens and I was first kind of starting to think about and come to terms with my sexuality, I was watching these videos nonstop. Any one I could find on YouTube, I was watching. I was any kind of social or gay media that I could take in. I was at the time. So I really just want to give back, I guess, and make one that hopefully someone in the future can refer to and help them on their process of coming out. Um, I guess I'll start with when I first had my first crush. Um, it's funny, and if you haven't seen the movie Bring It On, stop this video right now, go watch it, come back, because then you can really commiserate with me on this. But my sisters took me to see Bring It On when I was younger, and I remember Jan, the male cheerleader, one of the male cheerleaders in it, and I had the biggest crush on him ever. And I was in love. And I didn't really know, even at the time, what gay was, I don't think, or being gay was or meant. And I didn't even really understand crushes that well. But for some reason, I knew that liking this guy was wrong. And so I didn't tell anyone, obviously. Um, and fast forward through middle school, high school, I didn't really have that typical teenage experience, where with the, sexual experiences and all that sort of stuff. I dated some girls, if you can even call it dating, but obviously I didn't really get to have those normal kind of experiences. I'm sure all of you can relate to that because I think it's pretty common for LGBT youth. But when I finally got into college, I was out of that kind of small town conservative um, environment. So I was able to meet people my age who were out, and I'd never met someone who was my age that was out before. So that was pretty awesome. And I was just getting exposed to more and more types of people, and so I really that sexuality in the back of my mind that I never thought about really started coming to the forefront. Um, and it was then that I started watching all these videos on YouTube and these gay movies and everything, and really just kind of started researching the culture and everything. And that was my first big step on the whole acceptance journey. Um, and so finally, the first person I came out to was one of my best friends in college, still to this day as well. I invited her to lunch, and I was like, "Hey, let's get lunch sometime." So we go to lunch, and typically we're laughing, we're making jokes, we're loud and everything, talking the whole time. And this time I was just completely silent, completely the whole time on my part, and she was doing her best to keep conversation up or start it at all. And I was just silent. I was so nervous I couldn't even speak. And she just played along really nicely about it. And afterward, we're walking back, and I said, "Hey, do you want to get dinner tonight?" And she said, "Yeah." And so that was my second chance. And so I was going to make the most of it, I told myself. So we go to dinner, um, and dinner is exactly the same. I couldn't talk the whole time. And I was like, "Anthony, what is wrong with you right now? Like, what are you doing?" And so on the way back from dinner, we're walking up the hill, and I knew my chance, that I told myself I was going to do this today, and my chance was slipping away. So I told her, I just blurted out, I was like, "I have something I need to tell you." And I knew once I said that I would have to follow through or make something up, which I didn't want to do to her or to myself. Um, so she was really concerned. She was like, "What is this? Something wrong with your family? Are you sick?" And blah blah blah. And I was like, "No, no, no." And I felt bad because she was getting concerned, but I couldn't say the words "I'm gay." I just couldn't say it. So I told her to guess, and she was like guessing all these things. And then at one point she's like, "Is my boyfriend cheating on me?" I was like, "No, no, no, no." So I felt even worse now because she was starting to get really concerned. So I told her it's about me. It's something about me. And so the first thing she said, she's like, "Are you gay?" And I said, "Yeah." And that was really easy to say, yeah, in comparison to "I'm gay." And her first response was, "No." And then she said, well, no, I don't mean no, as in like, no, I mean like, and she felt really bad. Like her first thing she yelled was no. And she, after that, was really good. She was asking all sorts of questions. Um, and you love that. When you come out, you don't want to have to talk and answer and, say all these things. It's much easier to answer questions. And she was so supportive with it. She was awesome. I couldn't think of anyone better to come out to. And that was a huge, huge, huge step for me. I told my first family member, it was one of my older brothers. We're playing video games and just lying in bed, and I did the same thing. I was like, hey, I have something to tell you. And he said, all right, what is it? And I told him to guess again, because it worked so well the first time, right? So I told him to guess, and he said, he was like, our little brother got someone pregnant. And I was like, no. And he was like, our older brother got someone pregnant. And I was like, no. And he's like, our little brother's gay. And I was like, no. And he was like asking all these questions. And then finally I was like, no, it's about me. And he said, oh. He's like, are you gay? And I said, yeah. Once again, easiest thing in the world, right? Yeah. And I'll remember his response forever. And it was the best response ever. He said, oh, I thought you said it was something really important. And that to me was awesome, because that was him saying, I don't care, like, you're still my little brother, like, it doesn't matter to me at all. And that was great. And despite how great that was, I didn't tell the rest of my family for like a year and a half after that. And so finally, when I did, I sat my parents down, and about 3 months prior to this, I had been talking a lot about LGBT issues and news and everything like that, in the hopes that maybe when I did sit them down to talk about being gay, that it would be easy. It would be kind of an extension of that ongoing conversation. And honestly, it worked really well. So I sat them down and I said, okay, guys, I have something I need to tell you. And so I was kind of quiet for a little bit, and they were just kind of looking at me, and they weren't saying anything. And so I was like, okay. So I just said, I'm gay. And by that point, all my friends knew, and friends of friends, and everyone knew I was gay, except for, my family, excepting my one brother. And they just said, that's okay. Like, we still love you, sweetie. And so that was wonderful. And I asked them, I was like, did you guys know? Like, was this a surprise? And they were like, well, the past few months you've been asking like a lot of questions about this kind of stuff. And so they talked about it, I guess, amongst themselves. And they were like, we do have 8 kids. So the potential for one of them at least to be gay is pretty high. So they make those kind of jokes and stuff. But I really do think that all those questions prior to that, and the kind of this discussion and debates and everything, was a good thing, a good healthy thing for my coming out experience. And so I wasn't ready to tell the rest of my siblings yet, because some of them are very fervently religious, and I wasn't really willing to navigate those kind of relationships post coming out yet. And unfortunately, though, in my family, nothing's really sacred or secret. I guess that's what happens in a big family. But my mom, she like made me tell my brothers, and she like told my sisters, and it's whatever. I'm not mad. And some of them went well, and some of them didn't go well at all. And what matters really is that you are 100% comfortable with yourself, and the ones who aren't willing to accept you for who you are, and the ones who aren't willing to do that, trust me, it doesn't matter. You can live without them, and eventually they'll come around. And sometimes it happens much faster than you think, and it's pretty awesome as well. So yeah, basically that's my story. I cut out a lot of it in the hopes of keeping this video short. I don't know how long it is now. I got lost talking, but yeah, hopefully you guys have gained a little bit of, insight into how long it can take, or the different kind of steps you can take towards coming out, and that it's unique for everyone. And hopefully maybe you got some tricks or tips, whatever it might be, from this that might help you, that you could use in the future. I truly hope so. But in regards to this channel, I don't really know what I'm going to do with it. I want to keep it up continue it. But if you guys maybe have any suggestions, you can leave it in the comments or just message me even. And of course, if you guys ever have any questions about other stuff, considering I left out so much, I can make future videos about that. And I can also just give you guys any advice or anecdotes that you want to hear. So just let me know. All right, well, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and hopefully I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.